The final terror. Robert knew he was next. He had seen the others fall, one by one, claimed by an unseen force that whispered Daniel's name. The town was restless. The air itself felt heavier, thick with something unnatural. He had to get out. Tonight, the escape attempt. The old truck rattled as Robert sped down the empty road. The headlights cut through the dense fog, but he could barely see beyond a few feet. His hands were tight on the wheel, knuckles white with fear. Almost there, he muttered. The town's exit was just ahead. Once he was out, he'd never come back. Then a whisper. "You can't run, Robert." Robert's breath caught in his throat. He turned the radio off. The whisper wasn't coming from there. "You left me to die." The voice slithered into his ears, curling around his mind. The truck suddenly jerked. The engine stalled. The headlights flickered. And then everything went dark. Mark's nightmare. At that exact moment, Mark shot awake. But he wasn't in his room. He was somewhere else. Daniel's nightmare. The world around him was twisted, an eerie, moonlit swamp with water as dark as ink. The trees groaned like they were alive. Fog clung to the ground, twisting around his feet. And then he saw it, the murder. Robert and the others stood over Daniel, their faces twisted with cruel laughter. They held him down, pushing his head into the water. Daniel's hands clawed at the mud. His body thrashed. Mark tried to move, to scream, to stop it, but he was frozen, forced to watch. Daniel's last breath escaped in a silent scream. Then his eyes opened. He wasn't dead. Not yet. His gaze locked onto Mark, and for the first time, Mark felt it. Daniel's pain, his rage, his curse. Then the nightmare shattered. Mark gasped, jerking awake, but the whisper followed him back. "It ends tonight." Robert's fate. Robert stumbled out of his truck, his breath fogging in the cold air. The road was gone, swallowed by mist. He wasn't alone. Footsteps crunched behind him. Slow, steady, he turned. Nothing. His heartbeat pounded in his ears. Then a figure appeared in the fog. Daniel! His clothes were still soaked. His skin was pale, almost blue. His eyes, black. Robert ran, but the footsteps followed. Faster. Closer. Then a cold hand gripped his shoulder. Robert screamed. The world tilted as an unseen force dragged him backward, deeper into the forest. Branches tore at his clothes. Shadows twisted around him. Daniel's voice whispered, soft but filled with rage. "Did you think I'd let you go?" Robert fought, kicking and thrashing, but the grip was unbreakable. A final piercing scream cut through the night. And then silence. Robert was gone. Only the wind remained, carrying a whisper through the trees. Justice is served. The aftermath. Mark stood at the edge of the forest. He had seen Robert vanish. The town elders performed the cleansing ritual the next day, burning herbs, chanting prayers. But Mark knew it was over. Not because of the ritual, because Daniel had finished what he started. Mark closed his eyes, whispering into the wind. "Rest now, my friend." For the first time since it all began, the air felt lighter. The town was safe again. But Mark knew one thing for sure. Some spirits don't forgive, and some stories never truly end.